everyone, and welcome to your second royal reading of the day here at MadWorldTarot. It's a Thursday afternoon. We're coming up to the full moon, and as I said in the previous reading today, I am not personally struggling, but struggling with the energy, struggling with the trauma that's in my local community and in the wider community in the area that I live in. It's been a difficult week, but anyway, I'm back at the tarot table. If I'm rather erratic for the next week or so, that is why. It's just simply dealing with the carnage. It's literal carnage that we're dealing with. But anyway, we're back to the royals today. We have the Apprentice Tarot on the tarot table. It's a Rider-Waite. It's a very good tarot deck to get if you are learning tarot because it has the keywords on them. For the most part, they're pretty accurate, and so it's very useful reverse meanings as well, as you'll see when we actually get to the cards themselves. But today I'm doing two questions that I have for Meghan Markle or about Meghan Markle, and that revolve around her seeming inability to face the consequences of her actions. And in this reading, I'm going to be looking at a question raised by Bark Jack on Twitter, and that's why has Meghan Markle never gone back to the UK? She was there, of course, just inadvertently when the late Queen died. And since then, she has not set foot in the country again. This despite the fact that has had many things going on in the UK. His court cases could have done with her support there. The interviews that he did when he was promoting his book could have done with her support there. The coronation, she was allegedly invited, didn't bother to show. What else has she missed? The recently could have been there. The Well Child Awards wasn't there. So what is going on? And there are lots of theories, lots of speculations. And I'm going to have a look at them. With these cards, I'm going to ask, does she want to go back? How does she feel about going back to the UK? Is she free to go back to the UK? Because some people say she's not welcome there. She's been banned from going to the UK. So we're going to ask that question. We're going to ask, is she viewed possibly as a security risk? I have read on that. You can find it in the Royals playlist. I think it was this year's playlist. Lady C rumour that apparently she's viewed as a security risk, particularly around the Wales family and the children. That's a rumour. Then there is the other story that maybe she's got light fingers, pilfering potential, that they don't want her around, might lift some heirlooms while she's there. That's also a rumour. I've looked at that also in the Royals playlist. You can go and hunt around. Sorry, I haven't got the readings numbers for you, but I have looked at all of these things. So there's that as well. So might that be the reason why she's not welcome back in the UK? Security risk, pilfering risk, allegedly. Then from her point of view, is it because she's cowardly and doesn't want to face people she has maligned very badly and things like the Oprah interview? So that would be Catherine and Camilla, for instance. She worried about meeting them face to face, doesn't have the appetite for it. How about being booed by the public? She worried about the public having a go at her, as they did at St. Paul's, that famous morning during the Jubilee. They were, of course, restrained when she did her walkabout outside Windsor, and apparently she thought that meant they loved her. But, of course, they're British. They are going to be restrained and polite as best they can. So that, and then we'll ask outcome. So that's what's going on. Outcome will be, will she ever show up in the UK again, and how will she be received if she does? So it's a little nine, well, not a little 9-card reading. What am I saying? It's a 9-card reading with the Apprentice Tarot, and we're going to see if the cards can tell us, give us some indication of what is going on, and point us in a direction maybe that Bark Jack, the two of them, are alluding to. We don't know. They're full of rumour and not much substance by now, unfortunately. And anyway, one more. And there we go, jumping. And as I do that, let's remind you, it's tarot for fun and entertainment, all opinion, all speculation. And I read energy, archetypal energy, because we're dealing with the royals. And there is a disclaimer in the box below. So let's go, let's see, 9 cards. What's going on? This is her feelings. Is she blocked from going? This is security risk, pilfering risk. This is frightened of meeting royals, frightened of being booed. Will she ever go there again? Outcome if she does, hypothetical. Of course, we've got the Seven of Cups. This is possibilities and also delusion. So it's telling me that she might view this as something that she can just pick up whenever she feels like it. And there have been interesting moves towards not reconciliation, but to try and get housing, courtesy of the royal family. That insistence that they were going to get an apartment at Kensington Palace, things like that have been going on, churning away in the background. Maybe the house hunt in Malibu isn't going very well, and it would be nice to get some free accommodation courtesy of King Charles. But definitely underlying energy is saying there are still possibilities. She still possibly believes that it's possible. How many possibles can I throw into one sentence? But the Seven of Cups is looking at her options, thinking that there are still options, being a bit deluded. When you think that there are options, variety of options, it's said, fantasies, daydreams, realistic or unfeasible, you see, very useful. So my old normal rider weight is getting a bit dinged, which is why I got these instead to use. Where are we now? The actual situation. What are we dealing with? The not going back. Why I haven't gone back? Justice and reverse. Ooh. I like the no accountability, looking at it. No accountability, doesn't want to be held accountable for something. That might be the scandal that's lurking. I doubt that if she got off a plane there, they would be waiting with shackles, leg irons, and march her off, banish her to an island like Napoleon was banished. That kind of a thing. But there is some sense here that there might be something going on behind the scenes that's legal proceedings. Very interesting. An odd card. It might also be her sense of injustice, that she feels that she still owed that apology. Where is it? We do have rumours, and I have read on those as well, that she was marched out of the UK by the Queen. The Queen had her escorted to a plane by Sophie and Edward, and it was bye-bye, don't come back. So there's potential here. There is potential for something to be going on behind the scenes that we don't know about, legal proceedings. Interesting, whether it's from the royal family or whether it's Meghan's own sense of injustice, that she needs an apology for the way she was brutally mishandled, maligned, whatever. Very interesting card, because it gives me that there's two sides to the story. Justice, there is always two sides to a story when you're dealing with justice, and normally in a court or wherever, you both get a chance to have your say. That's what justice is about, really. And then you decide who's got justice on their side. Anyway, enough of that. We're not in a court of law here, more in the court of public opinion, really. So let's see, Meghan, does she want to go back to the UK? We've got the Seven of Cups there. How does she feel about going back? How does she feel about going back? Ooh, money, investments, something there that she might think is worth going back for. Trust funds, children, education, grabbing an apartment at Kensington Palace. But there's something she's taking stock, reaping the awards, investments, long-term strategy, being patient, the key words there. There's something that she feels that she's owed, or she expects, or that she's invested in, she's not ready to let go of. Titles could be things like that as well. Making sure that her children are included in the line of succession, that her efforts, her investment gets the reward she believes is hers. 2 sevens, and sevens are about thinking, taking stock, waiting, reassessing situations, having a look around and thinking, right, so what can I grab next when it comes to the Seven of Pentacles? So that's interesting. This is not a no energy. This is not, oh, I hate the place, I hate the people, I hate the weather, and I want to stay in California. Not at all. She still thinks there's the potential for her in the UK, deluded, and she still thinks there's something for her, some monetary reward for her there. So I have a strange side thought when I look at that Justice card and think of monetary reward and inheritances. And there was a lot of speculation, and I'm sure I read on it at the time, that Harry and Meghan felt that they had been cut out of wills and that they were entitled to certain legacies, whatevers, that they didn't get. Half of the Duchy of Cornwall as well, that kind of thing. Maybe that's ticking away behind the scenes. How about being blocked from actually showing up in Blighty? No, you're not welcome. If you do show up, we will send out the armed forces to stop you. I've got the King of Wands in reverse. King of Wands is drama, is temper, is aggression, is bossy domineering, as it says. It's not no, you can't come. I think it's more viewed as your trouble. If you do show up, I'm not getting a 7 of Swords, for instance, which would be, they really don't want her there. This is more, she's trouble. She's going to cause trouble. She might feel that she's entitled to a certain level of attention or status that she really isn't entitled to. That's, for me, the King of Wands. It's fire sign, it's drama, it's being pushy, it's being aggressive, it's being attention-seeking. That's the kind of behavior that they really don't want. So let's look at the trouble that she might be in or perceived as bringing to the royal family. Security issues, first of all, those rumoured dangers that she presents. We got 2 of Swords in reverse, and that is, for me as a reader, it's more about a hard decision that you can't stop anymore, and so you had to make it. And this for me is cutting out energy. The 2 of Swords is always, you have to cut someone out. You have to choose a hard road that you don't necessarily want, and for me that would be the royal family. The Wales is saying we've got to cut Harry out because we don't want her around, because we don't trust her. That's how I read this energy as a tarot reader. That 2 of Swords in reverse. Cut her out. Manage her when she is around, like they did at the walkabout outside Windsor, and then for the rest of the time, don't come near us. We've made that decision. We didn't want to make that decision because it means that we don't ever see has-been. Who would want to see him anyway? Oh dear, it makes my heart hurt actually to think of the trouble he has caused them. How about the other rumour that she's light-fingered, shall we say? Things tend to go missing when she's around. Ooh, the Tower. Now that's a problem. Falsehood exposed, destroyed, it says. This is a problem. I have read on it, as I keep saying, with all of these options. And I do recall that there was some in that reading. But the Tower is very, very shocking. That this might be a very serious concern for the royals, having her around. That she's just dangerous as far as things disappearing. Very, very interesting card. Very. But we'll move on. I think it tells its own tale. We don't need to linger there, do we? How about her reluctance to face people she has wronged? For instance, Catherine, Camilla, William, even Sophie. Is she afraid of coming face to face with people she's been so awful about? Yes, she is. Coward. 5 of Wands in reverse. Latent hostility, suppressed animosity. She'd have to curtsy to people she feels are beneath her. 5 of Wands is very much about pecking order. Who's who, who's top dog, fighting over that, being very competitive, very aggressive, and she feels humiliated. She would have to, as I say, curtsy to people she's been rude about, and they would look down at her, and it would be very, very awkward, socially awkward. She is a socially awkward creature at the best of times, again, as we have seen, because we've seen her out and about for long periods of time in the recent past, and this is something she dreads. She doesn't want to do, or for all the trouble making, the rabble rousing and all the rest of it that she did, she lost ultimately. She's in a weaker position than they are. She cannot deal with that. How about the public, facing the great British public, being booed when she goes out and about? How about that? Does that bother her, worry her? Stay at home, don't want to? Oh, it does. It does. Absolutely. Ace of Swords in reverse. Absolutely. Bad idea. Overanalyzing. This is harsh energy, the Ace of Swords, when it's in reverse. It's a harsh truth, something you might not want to face. She's very, very, very afraid. It's like big energy of the Two of Swords in reverse. The Ace of Swords in reverse is a very, very powerful card. It means you've got the wrong idea about something. It means you're perceived as being dishonest, unjust, deceptive, disruptive with the Ace of Swords energy. And it is agonizing over something, as I say, Ace of Swords, because when it's upright, you're very clear about what you've got to do. So again, same as Two of Swords. Very obvious, do this, and it'll be fine. When it's in reverse, don't know what to do. Very, 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 she's concerned about the public. Previous reading I've just done, she seemed to not quite grasp how unpopular she is. But this is in England. I think she is aware that the crowd is hostile towards her. I think she thinks it's just the Brits because they're racist. Sorry to everyone watching. I know you're not. Lived there long enough to know. She doesn't know. So, outcome. Is she going to darken the shores ever again? I don't think so. Eight of Cups, walking away, leaving behind. So I don't think so. I think she feels it's going to be too painful, and she'd rather not go back to the place that caused her so much unhappiness that she wanted to off herself, but yet managed to emerge with a vast amount of makeup on in that sparkly blue outfit and appear at that, I think it was the Cirque du Soleil event. Can't remember what that event was that night, but there she was beaming away. Anyway, doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it, which makes this card a little bit redundant, but we'll look at it anyway. Reception, if she does ever show up in the UK. Nine of Wands. She would have to have lots of bodyguards, and I don't mean that people would attack her, reel the tumbril out, plonk her in it, but they would be hostile. They would be aggressive. And Psychic, what's his name? Can't remember his name. With a double barrel surname. He has foreseen that Harry is going to have eggs chucked at him, or water or something thrown at him in the near future by a British crowd. So it's possible that the same would happen to her. Nine of Wands, that there might be some hostility in the crowd. They might have to barricade her off if she's walking down a street or somewhere at an airport or something, and someone spotted her and started shouting insults. It's that kind of a vibe with the Nine of Wands. Have to protect yourself, have to ring fence yourself, have to be on your guard, have to be careful. And it's Nine of Wands is always somebody who's been through it and they're exhausted and they're making their last stand and they can barely hold it together. Watchful energy. So she wouldn't be well received. Definitely not. And I'm very pleased to see that card. So it's a reception that she deserves. So even though there is some level of delusion here with the Seven of Cups, and she thinks it's possible, and she definitely thinks that there's something there for her that she's entitled to, she deserves. She's put in all the effort. Now, where is it? It's mine. Especially with the Justice card in reverse. Such an interesting card. There is something fishy in here. There you can come. It's not like you're not allowed and your passport's been confiscated and your car keys taken away. Not like that. But your trouble. What kind of trouble? Security risk? Yeah. In the energy that I'm reading, yes, that difficult decision has been made to cut her out and him. Pilfering, potential, rumor, tower, shock, horror. Can you imagine? A prince brings a girlfriend to, I'm speculating, this is a scenario I'm speculating. Prince brings girlfriend to meet new family. I mean his family, royal family. American girlfriend. She's famous. She's an actress. She's a humanitarian. I nearly said an environmentalist. She hasn't tried that one, interestingly. And let her loose in your house. Find her maybe, just maybe, speculating, photographing your children as they sleep in their beds. And then when you go to put on your favourite, I don't know, speculating again, watch or earrings, or write in your diary, it's gone. How would you feel? That's how you'd feel. Then, as far as facing people she has wronged goes, she doesn't want to. 5 of Wands in reverse. She feels defeated. She feels humiliated. If she had to curtsy to Queen Camilla, it would be too galling for words. She wouldn't do it. Doesn't want to show up because of that. And she fears the crowd. She fears the crowd booing and hissing. She really does. She's probably worked herself up into quite a state about it, wondering how they would receive her, and keep sending Harry out and sort of trial balloons, see if they attack him, mob him, maul him when he walks down the street in his Dior outfit, merching it for all the world to see. They haven't mauled him yet, mobbed him, and by mob I don't mean in the popular sense of the way, I mean in the tumbrel sense of the word. But Ace of Swords, she's frightened. She's a coward. She's a coward at heart. She doesn't want to do it. It's unlikely she'd ever show up. 8 of Cups. She's sitting in 7 of Cups energy thinking, maybe if it was worth it. But ultimately 8 of Cups, no. It's too painful, it's too traumatic. And they would be lining the streets, and there would be placards, and there would be rude things said, and the occasional boo, for sure, if she did ever return to Blighty. That's your reading, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you again when I can.